Hi, welcome to Boring Money, Rich Life. I'm your host, Joy Hicks, and today we're going to talk about an article that I've been seeing kind of floating around. And the article was talking about how starting this fall, China is going to start requiring all of their students, and that is like elementary all the way to like secondary, to have 8 academic hours of AI curriculum. Now, as investors, it's our job to kind of look for different opportunities. And I feel like this is kind of interesting because when you are looking into investing, you definitely need to see where the money is going. So to see China actually require this in their curriculum, which means like in order to graduate, students have to meet a certain credit hours of AI learning. I think that's definitely going to kind of incentivize us as investors to kind of start taking AI a little bit more seriously, start looking at the opportunities within AI. And I did share with you guys in a previous video that Coreweave, which is an AI technology company who rents out different NVIDIA chips so that they can kind of like power the data behind AI, they recently went public as well. So to see that company go public and then also China making this announcement, I think it's definitely important to at least start being on the lookout about the different opportunities within AI. We also know that DeepSeek, which is kind of like a competitor with ChatGPT, earlier this year they did release one of their more recent AI models, and it's supposed to be a lot more effective than ChatGPT is supposed to have like a lot more capabilities. And then it's also supposed to be a lot more cost effective. So there's definitely a lot happening within this sector. And I feel like the good thing about it is we're still pretty early. So, like, a lot of people kind of look back to the dot coms. So, when Amazon was becoming what it is today, when Google was becoming what it is today, this was like in the late 90s and the early 2000s. A lot of people kind of feel like they missed out on that whole dot com burst, right? And people talk about how, like, had you invested maybe $1,000 in the Amazon or Apple stock during that time, you could have probably been a millionaire right now. We're on the very early cusp of AI where there could definitely be a lot of investing opportunities. And so I'm not able to kind of tell you guys which specific company to invest in and things like that because I'm not a financial advisor. But it is my job to bring you guys different knowledge so you can understand where you can kind of find those different opportunities. It was saying that China is pretty much doing this because they're looking to kind of train and build the next generation of founders. And so I think that's great. I definitely feel like me personally, I try to use ChatGPT every day to some capacity. So whether I ask it to calculate something for me, whether I ask it for feedback or ask it to kind of like edit something that I'm working on, just getting in the habit of using it, I feel like is beneficial for me to kind of understand it better. But like I said, from an investing standpoint, I think it's definitely something to look at. And they were pretty much saying that their requirement can either be integrated into a different course. So let's say there's like an information technology course or like a computer science course. Students can kind of get that AI aspect included with that type of course, or it could just be a standalone course on its own. And students are supposed to learn about different chatbots and other tools. They're supposed to get a general background just on AI as a whole. And then they're also supposed to learn about AI ethics. And I do attend like a couple technology conferences a year. And I will say AI ethics is kind of like a big thing right now because, again, we're kind of on like the beginning stages of it being public. So obviously, years ago, people were already working on these things, but now that it's actually being released to the public, there's definitely a lot of talks about like regulations and all of these things, kind of like Bitcoin too. And so we do know that a lot of the data can be biased and things like that. So there's a lot of talks about that also. But the students are supposed to, I guess, learn about all of those different things. And it was also saying parts of Northern Europe, Canada, and South Korea have also started to integrate AI technology. So, again, as investors, it's our job to just kind of understand what's happening, to understand where companies are putting their money. So we know like Google, Microsoft, all these big companies are definitely putting a lot of money into AI. So definitely could be some opportunities for investing, or even if you're looking to kind of build your own business, that might be something that you want to get into because we know with all of these tariffs, trade is going to kind of be a little bit crazy right now. So if you were thinking about starting like a clothing line and you need to import all of your products from China, that might not be a sustainable business right now. But like an AI business where all you really need is your laptop, and AI could even help you build the business with like the different tools that you could utilize. That might definitely be something to look at as well. But as always, what is one boring thing that you can do today to start fueling your rich life? Again, I'm your host, Joy Hicks. Thank you for watching, and be sure to like and subscribe.